Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra and I want to work on this mold here. It's that little jar mold, and I want to do it in like dark Halloween colors. Not really Halloween. I want to do them in these red flowers here. And my wax seal that I will be using on this will be the Hogwarts wax seal. I don't have anything else Halloween-y for that kind of stuff. With the red wax and the red, I'm going to use the holographic red from Arteza. I have some resin mixed up here. I have a little bit left there. So what I'm going to do is, I don't think I opened this yet. Okay. I'm going to pour some of this red in there and mix it up. That is gorgeous. I don't know how well my camera's picking that up, but that is absolutely beautiful. I love it. Okay. What I am going to do is I'm going to close this up first. And I have some more resin here just in case, because it's been a bit. I'm going to put some in the lid, not much. That should be good. That should be really good. Okay. Let me put some more. I have some special orders that I have to make. So I will be doing that on the side. And I got 4 big things I gotta make. So that's why I have that little bit of extra resin. This should be enough to go on the bottom. I'm gonna pinch and pour. It's so staticky in here. I can clean that up. Let's see how far I got with it. I think I can come up just a little bit higher. So far I've done a blue one, a purple one, and now a red one. I don't want too much red in there. This should be good. Okay. And I'm going to clean up the side. So I'm going to let that, this I'm going to let cure up. That I'm going to let tack up a little bit. Because I want to come back and put the flowers in that in a little bit. So I'm going to spritz some isopropyl like so. And I will be back when this is ready to place the flower. So I will see you shortly. All right, this is cured enough. It's still real wet, real fluid, which is good. I have an ounce of resin mixed up right here. And I have some leaves that I had cut down. They were this size and I cut them down to this, just so it would fit a little better in here. Now I am going to need a pair of tweezers, and I'm going to dunk the leaves in the resin. And then I'm going to set it in like so. And because these are all fabric, including the flowers, they will get darker because when they get wet, just like fabric usually does. So just want to see a little peek of the green. Yep, just like that. Looks good. Now I'm going to take one of these flowers and I cut the stems off, and I'm going to dunk this in the resin like so. And when I come back, because I'm just going to let this cure up, completely cure up the lid. And when I come back, I will do this, and I will go into one of my stories. I will let you know a little bit about what I did as a police officer. It's kind of funny looking back on it. At the time, it wasn't funny. I felt really silly, and but looking back on it, it's hilarious. So I will expose myself a little bit about some of this. This is the I used the hot glue to, once I cut the stems off these flowers, I had to glue them back together because I felt they were falling apart. But anyway, as I was saying, I will let you know a little bit more about me and how silly I was as a young officer. And like some officer said when I did this, I was either very brave or very stupid. I'll go towards the very brave. That was funny. It was funny. And I did not put this through my vacuum chamber. I hope these bubbles, because I see a bunch of little micro bubbles in there. I'm not going to turn my heat mat on. I'm going to let this cure on its own, and we shall see how it does. I know I will have to sand this down. I have a video on that, on this particular lid. So yeah, but I'm going to give it a quick spritz with some isopropyl alcohol. I got some 99% isopropyl, and I'm going to spritz it, and hopefully these bubbles rise up. I'm trying to push this down into the glitter part of the resin. And I'm trying to force any of the big bubbles that are in the flower to come up to the surface. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, and I will come back and for the next step. So I will see you in a second. All right, this is cured enough, and this I had to repour. I will show you. This is what it ended up with. And you see the flowers? There's no room for me to sand or anything. I did something wrong. I filled this up too much, and then the flower floated. So what I do is I fill it up just enough to get the flower wet after I soak it. I put it in there, and I cover it with a silicone, just a piece of silicone that I cut from one of my mats, and I weigh it down. I do have that in the video I will have coming up after this video on how I did this, because that is just the flowers are just sticking up too much. I'd be sanding the flower away. So I just wanted to let you know that that is what that was. So I thought we would start off with the wax seal. Get this out of the way. I had just a few of the reds left, so I'm going to, this is a big wax seal compared to the other ones. The other ones are kind of small. Not small, but this is just a bigger wax seal. So I am going to put 2, 4, 6, 8. We're going to do that. And I'll put these up in my little wax seal container. So I'm going to speed this up as far as for the wax to melt. And then as soon as this melts, we'll be back to do the wax seal. Let's add a little glitter. Why not? Let me get a little spoon. We'll add a little glitter to it. Not a lot. I want to see what that will do. A little more than that. And then I'll add some more when it melts down some more. Okay, it's almost there. I'm going to add a little more. For those of you that are not familiar with the wax seal, doing this, I'll give you a little bit of what I've learned. You want to spend the money on good wax for one. This right here, I'm using one of the first waxes I've ever purchased. It's the ones that you get the whole bunch of colors or whatever. And I can tell by how long it's taken for this wax to melt, and I can tell by the consistency of this wax that this is not a really good quality wax. It's not bad, but it's not that good. You don't want the wax to start bubbling. You don't want to boil your wax because then it becomes brittle. So, and I can tell by the consistency. It's not my good stuff. So I'm just going to give it another second or so, and then we will get this done. One good thing about the wax is you can always, if it doesn't turn out good, you can cut it up with your scissors and remelt it. So I'm going to see if that's good because I don't want it to start boiling. So because I'm not actually sealing an envelope, it really doesn't matter which way I have my seal facing. And I'm just going to put it in the center, rotate it, and as I'm rotating, I'm pushing. Not rotating, but giving a little swirl. Now I'm going to take some dry paper towel and get that wax out of there. You want to make sure your hands are dry and whatever you're using to clean the spoon out is dry, because if it's wet, it will conduct the heat and you will burn yourself. And we don't want you doing that. This spoon is extremely hot. Okay, I'm going to blow out the candle. I'm going to move it back here out of the way. And we're going to see. Oh, I guess that's done. It's a good way to do it. And there is my Harry Potter wax seal. That just fell right off of there, didn't it? My Hogwarts, rather. I like it. Okay, I have 5 ounces mixed up, and I want to add a little bit of the Mayspring Dazzling Diamond. Just a little bit. Just to give it a little something. Not much. I don't want this to take over. That's good. You really got to stir this stuff in because it can clump up on you. So it can form, it can get clumpy in there. So I'm going to take a second and stir that up. And while I do this, I am going to tell a little police story. Yeah, it's been a while. This one, I think it's kind of funny. I have to, before I start, I want to let you guys know that I worked for a very large city. Very large, very busy city. And I also was born and raised in this city. So I didn't know the whole city, but I knew a good portion of part of the city, a large part of the city that I grew up in. And I'm going to pour a little bit of resin in here just to top it off, to start off. So when I graduated from the police academy, you're given they gave you 3 choices you could pick of where you wanted to go upon completion of the police academy. So, of course, I picked the area that I actually grew up in. And the area I grew up in was a very, very busy part of the city. Well, I got the area next to that. And the area next to that was a part of the city that was so slow as far as, which is good, as far as crime or anything like that. It was like really slow. I went the first winter, well, when I first got to the academy, it was wintertime, so you had what was known as the north end of the precinct. It didn't seem like anybody lived up in the north end. You didn't see anybody really, and which made it kind of easy to figure out if somebody was up to no good or not, especially working midnights. So I'm just going to start stuffing the flowers in. Especially working midnights, if a person is out in that area 3 o'clock in the morning, not that they are up to no good, but the odds are that they were up to no good, or they were in trouble or something. You did have people that would, wander around after dark or at 3 in the morning. It's not against the law. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it made it easy for a new officer to figure out who was up to no good or not. I got strings in here from the glue. So anyway, so now I finished that part of, I became from a probationary police officer to I'm going to have to switch this into another cup. Hold on. I need a smaller cup because I'm just reaching. I'm going to end up spilling it. So I went from a probationary police officer to now, after 6 months, I did 6 months in the academy, 6 months, working with supposed senior officers, which I really didn't. If you think a person with a year more on the job than me has got as a senior officer. It's not. So now I'm off probation. I am an actual police officer after 6 months. So now the summer rolls around and I go from midnights to afternoons. And on afternoons, a car, because we had 2-man police cars. You had me and my who I worked with would be my partner, and we 2-man cars would roll around together and fight crime. So I'm gonna take this out. I don't think I'm doing this right. I gotta add some more now. So but on days and afternoons, you can, during the day, you could have 1-man cars. You can, as long as it's daytime. As soon as the sun starts to set, then they would call you in, and you would get placed with another officer, and then you two would roll out together and Now you have your two-man car after dark, and you fight crime together. So there I was, brand new, didn't have much time on the job. Just over a year, not including the academy time. Including the academy time, because now it's the summertime, and I'm working by myself. They put me out there by myself as an Atom unit, and I didn't know that when you had special operations, plainclothes units, when they were out there and they were going to make an arrest, especially for a somebody that was violent or wasn't cooperative, they would get on the radio and they would ask for a marked unit, a police car with a uniformed police officer. That's what they're asking for. A uniformed police officer for the presence, just the presence of a uniformed police officer. So they sent me, okay? I'm working by myself. Not really much I can do by myself out there on the street as far as fighting crime. You're just basically writing just tickets and stuff like that. So, God, I hope I'm doing this right. So that was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to just be a presence, let the person know that they were in the process of arresting, that they were in fact the police, because they were in plain clothes. They were dressed just like everybody else out there. So my job was to let the person know that the people that they were dealing with were the actual police. Well, nobody told me this. I've never responded to this kind of stuff. I never was told this. Okay, I'm setting myself up because this was really stupid. I thought, I told my son the story, and he's grown now. Even when I told him back then, he just fell out laughing. I thought they needed me to make the arrest. Okay? Now, back then, I was 5'3", 120 pounds. New officer. And I roll up and I see there's like more than that, four unmarked police cars. You had from different parts of the city, different bureaus, including one from my precinct where I worked. So I see that the guy that they're trying to arrest is sitting in his car. He's parked in an alleyway, and he's facing the front of his car is facing the street. But he's a good, 10 feet in the alley. And you have the four unmarked police cars. They're like in a U, and they got their doors open. They got cover. I don't know what they were going to arrest this man for. I just know that I thought that he was being uncooperative or whatever. I don't know. All I knew is they needed police presence. So there I go. So what do? I get out of the car. I walk past the plainclothes officers that are standing outside their cars. And I walk right up to the guy in his car. And he's looking at me, and when I look back at it, he's looking at me like, this girl's crazy. Because I just walked straight up to the guy, open up the driver's side door, pull him from the car, and get him on the ground. I put handcuffs on him, and I stand up, and there's total silence. And I realized in that moment that I messed up. I did something really stupid. I messed up. And I turned around, and there's 4 cars. So you had 8 officers and a supervisor standing there. and they're had their guns drawn. They're, you know, hiding on the, not hiding, but taking cover behind their cars. And they stand up and they look at me, and I realized I wasn't supposed to do that. I was just supposed to pull up in my police car so this guy could see that they are the police. And then they were going to give the verbal commands of him, step out of the car, put your hands on your head, back away from your car, get on your knees, that kind of arrest. That's what they were going to do. They were going to do a felony arrest. And I still don't know what they were arresting him for. All I know is, you know, whatever it was wasn't good. And I had the supervisor come up to me and say, you know, he ended up becoming my supervisor when I worked special ops. But he was like, he was so mad. He was like, you are either the stupidest SOB that ever graced our department, or you got a set on you bigger than, you know, bigger than ever. And I was like, I was so embarrassed. Yep. So they were laughing. I was the butt of the joke. But he was arrested. They ended up walking up to him. I guess, you know, now it was safe. It took him to jail. But there I go, thinking I'm big bad police. Get out of the car. Grabbing him. Get on the ground. Throwing the handcuffs on him. Thinking I know what the heck I'm doing. For all I know, this guy could have been armed, threatening them. And I just walked up to a guy that is potentially really violent. I exposed myself. I mean, I look back and these officers were taking serious cover behind their cars. And I just walked up like it was a regular old day. Oh my goodness, I look back on that. I get so embarrassed. I get so embarrassed whenever I think of that story. But it's funny. We laugh. My son just cracks up. You know. He's like, you are so crazy. He just says, my son thinks it's funny because he's like, he goes, I can only imagine what that guy was thinking sitting in his car. You know, you got all these guys, because I was the only female. So you got all these guys that are, you know, using their car for cover, and you got this little female comes out of nowhere and jerks him out of his car and throws him in handcuffs. He didn't protest. He didn't say anything. I think he was stunned into silence. I think he was shocked. He's like, what the heck, this crazy lady? He's like, I am not going to make any sudden moves or nothing because she's nuts. So that is the first time I was told as an Atom unit to make for police presence for unmarked units to let the people know that they are the actual police. And that is what I did. So, yeah. Kind of stupid, huh? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe off my gloves. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to spritz this with some isopropyl alcohol. And I'm going to let this cure up. I am not going to turn my heat mat on. I'm just going to let this... I might turn it on after I got rubbing alcohol on my glove. On my baby wipe. I might turn it on after about an hour and a half. I found that is a good time. You know, if you're going to do it, you got enough time to let the bubbles rise to the surface. But I wouldn't do it any sooner than that because there's a lot of trap bubbles in here. But I'm going to clean up all this off and all this stuff. And so when I come back, we will just put finish it off with the glitter coat. So I might not wait till it's completely cured for that portion of it, but pretty much. So I will see you guys in a second, okay? Okay, this is cured. I let it sit for about 2 hours, and then I put it on my heat mat for about an hour and a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to top this off just a little bit. I just want to get the top covered. So I am going to sand this. So I just want to nice, doesn't have to be domed or anything like that. I could just see that it could take a little bit more. So that's all I'm doing with this. So, yeah, so we got that. I wanted to do that before I added any glitter to it. So we got that looking nice. I'm going to hit it with a little isopropyl. If I overfilled it, it will go over. The surface tension would break. So that's a good way to see what happens. If that starts to overrun, I'll just pull it off. So I'm going to fill this up. I don't know if I said how much resin I have mixed up. Just over an ounce. So we're going to mix the glitter in there. And I will be putting this on the heat mat right away. There's no need for me to wait. A little bit more. I'll probably wait an hour. Hopefully I have enough resin mixed up. If not, I can always top it off. That looks so pretty. Let's see what we got here. Because I was going to mix up 2 ounces, but I thought, that might be a little too much. I see I have a little flower right there. I'm going to see if I can cut that off. Let's see if I can get my cheaper scissors out. I have scissors for everything. You know what? I will try and get that off when I sand this down. If I have to sand this, I will. I have no problem doing that. I do want this domed up though. I don't want no sharp edges on the bottom. Almost there. Looks like I mixed up just enough. Just enough resin. Perfect. There you go. So I'm gonna spritz that. I don't want it to go over. So I will be back for the demold. All right, these are cured. We'll start with this one. I can already tell that I overpoured on this, but I'm not too worried about that because I plan on sanding this down anyway. Just want to get it out of the mold without tearing the mold. Yeah, see, I can tell I have some. That is so pretty though. That red looks nice. Let's see about this. I'll probably get this started and then come back because I got to pull it closer to me. Okay, here we go. That is so pretty. That is beautiful. Have a little bit of cleanup, but it just picks right off. Yeah, I couldn't get my... Oh, wow, is that ever pretty? Look at that. You can see... Let me get some white. Hold on. Look at how pretty that is. Please zoom in. hope my camera's picking that red up. And the leaves, the green in those leaves. Doesn't that turn out so pretty? And you can see I have just a little bit of cleanup right there I can get with my deburring tool. And this, that is beautiful. So again, I'm going to sand that smooth. I'm going to put my liquid latex on here and sand it smooth, and then I'll be back to flood coat it. So I'll be right back. All right, I got the liquid latex on there. It is dry. I'll set it up on this little cup here. Hopefully that's good. That should be good enough. I have 20 mils of resin here. I'm going to zoom in and set that in the center. Let's see. Okay. And now all I'm going to do is flood coat. And let's see. There we go. Hopefully my camera, my microphone is working. I had to fix it. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I do want to break the surface tension. I did sand the sides. I just think that is so pretty. So, I'm going to add a little bit more. Let me get this, set that there. All right, I'm going to go in with the clean glove. Let me get some in here. And I'm using a 2-to-1 resin. It's more of a doming resin. It's from Little Windows. I think that's it. So I'm going to let that cure and be back when it's ready. Okay, this is cured. Looks really pretty. Let's get this out of here. That's funny. And I let this set up overnight. So we're going to remove the liquid latex off the back. And usually I like to pull this off a little sooner than I am, but it got kind of late. But it still comes off real easy. See all those little spill marks? See those little nubs? We're going to get all those off. Get that up. Perfect. There it is. Okay, let's fit it in the cap. How it fits in there. Fits nice. That looks so pretty. See that in there? So I'm going to get this cleaned up, and once I get it cleaned up, we'll come back and put the wax seal and stuff and finish it up. So yeah, let me get it cleaned up and I'll see you in a second. Okay, I am back, and I got my string and I got my wax seal. Now I made the red one and I was holding it up to that. It gets lost. So I made a gold one. I like the gold better. It stands out. So all I'm going to do is take the string, find the center, and I'm just going to start twisting this or wrapping this around. Okay, I got that much done. Let's cut the string just a little bit, like that. Okay. I got me some liquid fusion. Let's set this up like this so it don't roll everywhere. Like that. Okay. Let me see. My wax seal is awfully big for this, but I'm going with it. Do I want to go with this one? That's awfully big. Let me look at my wax seals. I went with this one. I like this one. The scale, when you look at it, it's not like taking over the whole side of the jug. So I am going to hold this down like so. I'm going to put some liquid fusion right there, like so. Some hot glue, like that. And then I'm going to position this where I want it. And the hot glue will hold it immediately, and the liquid fusion will hold it over time. There. That looks cute. I like that. The scale is so much better. So I can put these up and use these at another time. Let me close this stuff up. Here's my little jar. I've got some paper here. Let's see which one it looks better behind. That kind of makes it disappear. Maybe. I don't know. Let's try the white. That is so pretty. Didn't know that was there. That is so pretty. So let me know what you think. Do you like it? I like it. I did stretch out the lid. I explained how I do that in, I believe it's the purple jar. I believe that's the one I explained that in. I'll have it linked. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of my police story. If you like those kind of things, I can continue sharing them. I only share the stories when I'm in the frame of mind to share them. I have to kind of like build myself up to share my police stories. But if you like them, let me know. I'd really appreciate it if you would let me know that. I'd also appreciate if you could, if you like my content, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a like. Your likes and your comments really drive the algorithms on YouTube. It lets YouTube know that people like these videos and they're engaging in these videos, and they will push these videos in front of more people, which would help me out greatly. So with that being said, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. It is free. To my subscribers, I truly appreciate you, and you have a great day, and God bless. Bye.